Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. You are listening to Pod Studio, your favorite place to practice your English listening while we talk about life, language, and everything in between. I'm Alex.
And I'm Emma. It's so good to be here today. Alex, I was thinking about our topic for today, and I think it's something that almost every student feels a bit nervous about.
Oh, definitely. We are talking about how to disagree with people, but, and this is the important part, how to do it politely. Because, let's be honest, saying, no, you are wrong is a bit too strong, isn't it?
It's very strong. In English, if you just say you are wrong, it can sound a bit mean or even aggressive, even if you are right. So today, we want to help you find those soft ways to say you have a different opinion.
Exactly. This is so useful for real life. Whether you're at work, talking to your friends, or even this chatting about a movie, you need these phrases. It helps the conversation keep flowing without making anyone feel bad.
So, for everyone listening, just relax. You don't need a notebook or a pen right now. Just listen to us talk. We're going to use these phrases naturally so you can hear how they sound in a real conversation.
That's the best way to learn. Before we start, if you want more fun English podcasts like this, hit the subscribe button right now and join our English learning family.
It really helps us grow.
Welcome to Pod Studio. Let's jump right in. Emma, I wanted to ask you something to start us off. I was reading this article yesterday that said coffee is much better for your health than tea. What do you think about that?
Oh, see, now you're starting a fight already. Well, I see what you mean because coffee gives you a lot of energy, but I'm not sure I agree with the idea that it's healthier. I think tea is much more gentle on the body.
I see what you mean. That's a great phrase. You used it perfectly there. You're acknowledging my point before you tell me your own opinion.
Exactly. It's like a cushion, like a soft pillow on a chair. It makes the no feel much softer. If I just said, no, tea is better, it feels like I'm closing the door on the conversation. But by saying, I see what you mean, I'm keeping the door open.
I like that. It's like saying, I hear you, I understand your words, but I have a different thought. It's very respectful.
It really is. And another one I use a lot is, that's a good point, but. For example, if you tell me that coffee helps people focus, I can say, that's a good point, Alex, but sometimes it makes people too jumpy or nervous.
Jumpy. That's a funny word. It means when you have too much energy and you can't sit still, right?
Yes, like a little frog jumping around. Too much caffeine makes me jumpy. So in that case, I'm disagreeing with the benefit of coffee, but I'm starting with a compliment by saying, that's a good point.
I use that at work all the time. If my boss says we should finish this project by Friday, and I know it's impossible, I can't just say, no way. I have to say, I see where you're coming from, but I think we might need more time.
I see where you're coming from. That's another excellent one. It means I understand your perspective, or I understand why you are thinking that way. It's very professional.
It really is. It shows that you are listening. You know, Emma, I think listening is actually the most important part of disagreeing. If people feel like you aren't listening, they get angry.
I totally agree with you there. Wait, I just agreed. We're supposed to be disagreeing. Let's try another one. Alex, I think that everyone should live in a big city. I think living in the countryside is boring and there is nothing to do.
I'm afraid I disagree with you on that one, Emma. I actually think the countryside is the best place to live because it's so quiet and peaceful.
I'm afraid I disagree. That sounds a bit more formal, doesn't it?
It is a little bit more formal. We use I'm afraid not because we're scared, but as a way to be extra polite. It's like saying, I'm sorry to say this, but I have a different opinion.
Right. We use I'm afraid in many ways in English, like I'm afraid we are out of milk, or I'm afraid I can't come to your party. It just adds a layer of politeness to bad news or a disagreement.
Exactly. It's a very British way of speaking, but Americans and people all over the world use it too. It just makes you sound very kind.
So, back to the city versus the country. You think the country is better because it's quiet, but don't you think it's difficult to buy things? In the city, the shops are always open.
That's true, but on the other hand, in the city there is so much noise and pollution. I think your health is more important than being able to buy a snack at midnight.
On the other hand, I love that expression. It's like you're looking at two different sides of a coin. You have one idea in one hand, and then you flip it over to see the other side.
Yes, it's a classic way to show a contrast. It's very helpful when you want to show that you have thought about both sides of a problem.
You know, I had a situation last week with my friend. She wanted to go to a very expensive Italian restaurant for dinner. I really didn't want to spend that much money.
Oh, that's a tough one. Money is always a sensitive topic. How did you tell her?
Well, I didn't want to be a party pooper. That's a phrase we use for someone who ruins the fun, right?
Right, a party pooper. No one wants to be that person.
So I said to her, I understand why you want to go there. The food looks amazing, but I'm not sure that's the best idea for me right now because I'm trying to save money.
I'm not sure that's the best idea. That is a very gentle way to say no. It's not saying your idea is bad. It's saying maybe there is a better option.
Exactly. And she wasn't offended at all. She just said, "Oh, I understand. Let's go to that cheap pizza place instead." It worked perfectly because I wasn't being negative about her choice. I was just sharing my situation.
That's the secret, Emma. It's about focusing on I instead of you. If you say you were choosing an expensive place, it sounds like a criticism. But if you say, I'm not sure that works for me, it's just about you.
That's a really good tip for our listeners. Use I statements. Instead of, you are wrong, try, I have a different feeling about this, or I see it a bit differently.
I see it a bit differently. I use that one constantly. It's so soft. It sounds like we're just looking at a painting from different angles. You see blue, I see green. Neither of us is wrong, we just see it differently.
It's very diplomatic. Actually, let's talk about that word, diplomatic. It means being able to handle people well without causing problems or anger.
Yes, and in English culture, especially in business, being diplomatic is a huge skill. If you can disagree with your boss or your client without making them feel stupid, you will be very successful.
I agree. Let's imagine a work situation. Imagine I'm your manager and I say, Alex, I want you to work this Saturday to finish the report.
Oh, I wouldn't like that. Okay, let me try to be diplomatic. I would say, I understand that the report is very important, Emma, but I actually have some family plans this weekend. Is there any way we can finish it on Monday morning instead?
That was great. You started with, I understand that, which shows you know the work is important. Then you used but to introduce your problem. And then, this is the smart part, you offered an alternative.
Right, an alternative. That means another choice. Don't just say no, give a new idea.
Is there any way we can is a beautiful way to ask for that alternative. It's a question, not a demand. It's very soft.
It makes the other person feel like they are helping you find a solution rather than you just refusing to work.
You know, Alex, sometimes people disagree because they just don't have all the information. I remember once I was talking to a friend about a movie. He said the movie was boring and too long.
Let me guess, you loved the movie.
I loved it. It was a 3-hour drama about history. So I said to him, I hear what you're saying, but don't you think the acting was incredible? That made the time go by fast for me.
I hear what you're saying. That's very similar to I see what you mean. It's just using a different sense, hearing instead of seeing. Both are used to show you are paying attention.
Exactly. It's like saying, I am listening to your words. It really helps to calm people down if they are feeling passionate about their opinion.
Passionate, that's a good word. It means you have very strong feelings about something. When people are passionate, they sometimes get loud or fast when they talk. Using these polite phrases can help bring the energy level down to a calm place.
It really does. I think another thing that helps is using words like actually or to be honest.
Oh, yes, to be honest is a classic. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of that restaurant. It sounds like you're sharing a secret or being very sincere.
Sincere means you're telling the truth from your heart. When you say, to be honest, people usually respect your opinion more because it feels like you're being brave enough to tell the truth politely.
And actually is a great way to correct someone gently. If someone says, "Oh, London is always raining," you could say, "Actually, it's quite sunny in the summer sometimes."
Actually is much better than saying, no, you're wrong about the weather. It just adds a little correction without being pushy.
Pushy. That's when someone tries too hard to make you do something or believe something. We don't want to be pushy when we disagree.
Not at all. We want to be like a gentle breeze, not a storm.
That's a very poetic way to put it, Emma, a gentle breeze. You know, I was thinking about how different cultures disagree. In some languages, it's okay to be very direct, but in English, we love these extra words to stay polite.
It's true. Sometimes my students ask me, Emma, why do I have to say 10 words when I can just say no? And I tell them, because those 10 words are the social grease that makes life go smoothly.
Social grease. I love that. Like grease on a bicycle chain. It stops the grinding and the noise and lets everything move easily.
Exactly. Without those polite phrases, the conversation can grind to a halt. That means it stops completely because someone feels hurt or annoyed.
We definitely don't want the conversation to grind to a halt. We want to keep it moving. Let's practice a few more. Emma, I think that social media is the worst thing that ever happened to the world.
Wow, that's a very strong opinion, Alex. I see your point about the problems it causes, but don't you think it's also a great way for people to stay connected with their families?
See, you did it again. I see your point. It's so simple but so effective. You didn't tell me I was wrong, you just pointed to the other side of the situation.
And then I asked a question, don't you think? This is a great trick. Instead of making a statement, ask a question. It makes the other person think, and it feels like a discussion rather than a lecture.
A lecture is like when a teacher talks for an hour and no one else speaks. No one likes to feel like they are being lectured in a normal conversation.
Exactly. So by asking, don't you think, I'm inviting you to look at my side.
And I could respond by saying, "You have a point there, Emma. It is good for family, but I still worry about the time people spend on it."
You have a point there is another way of saying, I agree with part of what you said. It's a very common phrase. It shows that you're being fair. You're not just saying no to everything, you're finding the things you can agree on.
That is such a good strategy for any disagreement. Find the common ground. Common ground is the stuff that both people think is true.
Right. If we both agree that family is important, that is our common ground. From there, we can talk about our different ideas about social media more easily.
It's like building a bridge. You start on the ground you both share, and then you build the bridge over to the other side.
You're being very poetic today, Alex. Bridges and breezes. I like it.
I'm feeling inspired by our conversation. But really, these phrases are like tools in a toolbox. You don't need to use all of them at once. Just picking one or two can really change how people react to you.
I think "I'm not so sure about that" is one of my favorites for beginners. It's very easy to remember. I'm not so sure about that. It's not a no, it's a maybe no.
I'm not so sure about that. It's great because it sounds like you were thinking. It's like you were saying, "I'm considering your idea, but my brain isn't 100% convinced yet."
Exactly. It gives you time, and it's much nicer than a quick no.
What about when someone gives you advice you don't want? Like, "Alex, you should really wear a hat today. It's cold." And maybe I don't want to wear a hat.
Well, you could say, "Thanks for the advice, I'll think about it." That's a polite way to disagree without saying, "I'm not going to do that."
I'll think about it. That's a classic. It usually means no, but it sounds so nice.
It really does. Or you could say, "I appreciate the suggestion, but I actually feel quite warm today."
I appreciate the suggestion. That's a very high-level, polite way to speak. Appreciate means you are thankful for the thought. It shows you know the person is trying to be helpful.
It's much better than "I don't need a hat," which sounds like a teenager talking to their parents.
Hey, I remember being that teenager, but now that I'm older, I realize that "I appreciate it" goes a long way.
It really does.
And sometimes we disagree because we have different tastes, like music or food. If you say, this pizza is the best in the world and I think it's just okay, I might say, it's good, but it's not really my favorite.
It's not really my favorite. That is the perfect way to talk about tastes, because taste is personal. There is no right or wrong with pizza.
Exactly. Or it's not really my cup of tea. Have you heard that one before?
Oh, I love that one. It's not my cup of tea. It doesn't mean you don't like tea, it just means that thing is not for me.
Right, like jazz music isn't really my cup of tea. It's a very soft way to say you don't like something that someone else might love.
It avoids the word bad or hate. Instead of saying, I hate jazz, you say, it's not my cup of tea. It keeps the atmosphere friendly.
Atmosphere. That's the feeling in the room or in the conversation. We always want to keep the atmosphere light and positive, even when we don't agree.
This is so important for language learners because sometimes when we are learning a new language, we use simple words. And simple words can sometimes sound a bit hard or cold.
That's a very good point, Alex. If a student only knows the word no or wrong, they might use them too much, not because they are mean, but because they don't have the other tools yet.
Exactly. So by learning these phrases like, I see what you mean, or I'm afraid I have a different opinion, you are making your English sound more advanced and more human.
It's about being kind with your language. I think that's a beautiful goal for any learner.
It really is. Emma, we've talked about a lot of phrases today. We talked about, I see what you mean. That's a good point, but I'm afraid I disagree. On the other hand, and to be honest.
And don't forget, I see where you're coming from, and it's not really my cup of tea.
Right, those are so many good ones. I hope our listeners are feeling more confident now. It's okay to have a different opinion. In fact, conversations are more interesting when we don't agree on everything.
I totally agree. Oh, there I go again, agreeing. But you're right, Alex. If everyone always said yes, life would be very boring. We just need to learn how to say no with a smile in our voice.
With a smile in our voice. I like that. Even if people can't see you, like on this podcast, they can hear the smile if you use polite words.
They really can. Well, Alex, I think we have covered a lot today. How are you feeling about our topic?
I'm feeling great. I think this is one of those lessons that people can use immediately, like as soon as they finish this episode. They might go talk to a friend or a colleague and use one of these phrases.
I hope so. And remember, it's okay if you don't get it perfect the first time. Even just saying, I'm sorry, but before you disagree is a huge step.
Definitely. It's all about making progress, not being perfect.
Well said. This has been such a fun conversation, Alex. I always enjoy our chats, even when we disagree about coffee in the city.
Me too, Emma. It's the best part of my day.
And to all our listeners at Pod Studio, thank you so much for spending this time with us. We really hope this helps you feel more comfortable speaking English in the real world.
Yes. Keep practicing, keep listening, and don't be afraid to share your own opinions, politely, of course.
Exactly. We'll be back soon with another topic to help you on your English journey.
Until next time, take care and have fun with your English.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Goodbye.